I think we've been marketed, and I say we as in African healers in general, we've been marketed as the ignorant parts of this industry, right? So everything we do is rudimentary. We do things that are obscure. And I think partly it's because of the way African traditional medicine is practiced, the whole idea of the secretism around the practice. Today's age, if somebody doesn't tell me exactly what I'm taking, I don't want to take it.
Knowledge is lost because knowledge is not being passed down in the correct way. It's like I'm tired of fake sangomas because they are taught the wrong things. They are taught, so basically they're not taught. They are just taken through the paces to just get them through this thing, when actually there's so much more that has to be learned about. You'll find people who come out of Buktwaseni not knowing what an herb does, a simple herb. Not knowing what it even looks like, not knowing which part to use. So in all of that, we need to be sure that when these things are passed down and they're being taught, we're very, very aware of how we're teaching, who we're teaching, and whether these people are learning.
But I do think that we should take advantage of this wellness industry in trying to brand ourselves and learning from how Western doctors brand themselves, Western society, in terms of like the natural medicine industry, the Asians in terms of the natural medicine industry, the way that they brand themselves, the way that they promote, they practice is completely different.
In 2007, Parliament promulgated a law that is called Traditional Health Practitioners Law. It's the Traditional Health Practitioners Act, which is a law that regulates, in fact, that recognizes traditional health practice in the country. What this piece of legislation says to you is that every person has rights to see a healer of a traditional health practitioner. That traditional health practitioner has to be registered with that council, which was supposed to be established as per this law. In the council itself, the composition of the council remains a contestation for healers, because the composition of the council is one that has a number of stakeholders who are not necessarily healers. Because you can't bring in people that are foreign in traditional medicine practice as though they are police. They want to police our profession because the government does not trust us. A lot of power is given to a minister. And in this case, that is why traditional health practice is so frustrated, because someone that happens to be minister does not care about traditional medicine. There was no adequate research, before this law was prepared. It was just a few group of people that sat somewhere in a high office and determined a future of a profession. One of the resolutions that we arrived at was that let's review the entire act. Let's send the act back to Parliament. Let a proper process start, which is a process where Parliament is going to commission a team of experts that are going to research with us on our profession. At the moment, there is no formal regulation that understands traditional medicine. And with this law, because it does not understand us, I'm telling you one thing. If government is trying to push to get traditional healers registered, it won't register traditional healers.
I think in Mozambique, there's already been an awakening in that. There is this, there's an institute, which is the Institute for Ethnobotanics, and they are looking at studying and preserving the indigenous plants and medicinal plants in Mozambique. Also looking into testing, they do testing, and also into preserving and protecting the recipes of the sangomas. So how do you, if there's a sangoma that discovers a plant to heal something, and he's the first one that successfully uses and his recipe works, how do you make sure that when other people start making, when it becomes industrialized, that he benefits from it? So they're doing a lot of work around that, which I think is very important work. This is who I collaborate with. This is who I work with right now. I hope to see this project grow. They've created a database of all indigenous medicinal plants in Mozambique, and they're busy working at putting that on a website so the general public can have access to it.
If we want to make medicines and we want to produce them in our homes, and we want to make small little clinics where we can make our own plant medicines, you can't trade like that currently under the South African law. Because if you want to trade in medicine, it has to be officially verified according to scientific methods of production, which our medicine will never be able to pass, because the way that we use the medicine doesn't fit within that framework of knowledge. This South African state does not recognize that plants have a spiritual efficacy. And that's part of the problem of regulating the practice of Sangoma, or regulating the way that we work in relation to plants, is that there aren't structures or any understanding, there aren't methodologies of understanding our medical practice, because the Western biomedicine is so huge. It's such a huge primary field of medicine, and is based on Newtonian physics and evidence-based medicine. And Sangoma medicine, spirit mediumship, is based on the belief and the oral knowledge of plant spirit medicine. We can have different relationships between plants and our bodies, other than merely the mechanical popping a pill that has a certain pharmacological effect in your physical body, right? But the fact that you can take medicines in different ways, you can take them in many different ways. You can scrubs or washes or anointments or steams or poultices, or you can in certain base mediums, you can work with all sorts of natural substances in different ways to bring healing